Hey all, this is Kasak Keperu for New World Dimensions, and today I want to talk to you about the real agenda of Hollywood and who controls Hollywood. As you'll notice, I'm wearing this really cool Native American t-shirt by this awesome designer, and it's portraying a beautiful spiritual Native American woman, and it's kind of appropriate for what I want to talk to you today about, which again is who controls Hollywood and the Hollywood agenda. Now, most people who study film and TV communications talk about how influential movies are, and as you know, they're not. Mass media is not just an exercise in entertainment for purely entertainment sakes, but there's an agenda behind it, which is to influence the population to act in a certain way. Now, again, what I laugh about is those who profess to be scholars and study film, and they talk about the problem with Hollywood is the Jews. The Jews control the media, so they have a very biased opinion of things. If you take away anything from this video, the one thing I want you to understand and stop doing is blaming things on the Jews, because the real puppeteers behind Hollywood, who controls Hollywood, is the Illuminati. They're the ones that are putting in place the agenda and enforcing that agenda through mass media. Now, I've said this many, many times, that film, movies are a way of bringing to being a reality, a physical reality. I'm not talking about just influencing people in the way they think. I'm talking about bringing in a physical manifestation of something, because film, which we can trace back, and not film per se, but the idea of the moving image, we can trace back to the ancient Kemetic people, or really just ancient indigenous people, where you see the pictorials on the cave walls or the hieroglyphics. Those told you the power of the moving image. Now, once you get somebody into a theater, the lights go down, and they become really engrossed in the film, you'll see basically that they take on the persona of the protagonist, and they empathize, their emotions are spiked, and when that happens, you activate certain occult powers that are within you to bring, in fact, a reality through which the narrative or the story is dictating. That's what it's about. That's the real power and influence of movies, is to get you into an alternate state of consciousness, a trance, so that you can manifest reality. And in ancient cultures, we saw this as ritual, where the tribe would get around together in a communal setting. They would beat the drums, people would dance, they would go into the alternate state of consciousness, and that the tribal leader would then implant them or seed them with ideas to help bring in fact a way of acting, so that the collective could be more harmonious. So the Illuminati is working in the same way through Hollywood to embed movies with certain storylines and plots to get you to not only act in a certain way, but to manifest the reality of a world that they want, which is a one world government to subject the mass population to their whims and their satanic beliefs. And they are Satan worshipers. That's what they're all about. So they're using the mass media to get you to bring forth their reality, and you're not realizing that this is happening. You're like an unwilling you're an unwilling participant, but you're actually going according to their plan. And you'll see this, and one of the ways they do this is to appeal to the lowest common denominator, meaning they want to get the mass of the population to act in the lowest animalistic form as possible. That's why you'll see in a lot of reality shows and a lot of movies, they have elevated the negative aspect of certain cultures. And specifically, if you look at African American cultures, you'll see that there's a ratchetness, is a negative type of behavior that they're trying to make the norm now. And specifically, and pay close attention to me, specifically they are targeting the African American woman. They're getting her to act in a very ratchet way, because they know that once they condition the female principal or the woman to act in a certain way, she's the mother and cradle of civilization, and she will nurture and raise her children to act in the same way. So they know by getting her to act in a very ratchet, uncivilized, ugly way, that they will make that the type of norm behavior. And again, you have to understand that they don't have to influence the entire mass population, because according to the 100 Monkeys principle, or a tipping point, all the law of Ma'at, which is the interconnectedness and interdependency, that we're all connected, and that thoughts and energy is transferable. What someone is thinking halfway around the world, I can pick up on that thought and energy and start to act that out. So they know that they only have to reach a certain amount of the population for it to spread like a virus and goes out there, and everybody will start to act in accordance to that behavior. So that's why you'll see them appealing or portraying things that come right out of the lowest of the low behavior to try to get that to be the norm. And you'll see things that even with, certain people who you thought were very like high morale and very classy, and you respected them. I mean, if you look at things like some of the things that Michelle Obama has said, when she talks about that she's a single mom, I mean, that's pure ridiculousness. I mean, how could she even fathom that thought that she's a single mom, or even communicate that in public? Or the fact that she says that, if she wasn't first lady, who would she like to be? And she goes Beyonce, knowing full well that Beyonce is in league with the Illuminati. She's a Satan worshiper. Why would, and bottom line is, Beyonce is just a pop culture icon. Why would someone of her high caliber and intelligence want to stoop to something that low and that on that level? You know what I mean? But this is what the Illuminati wants to do. They want you to accept somebody like a Beyonce or somebody like a Lil Wayne as the norm type of behavior, to get the population to act in a very uncivilized, animalistic way, to act in a very ratchet way. So that's what you have to look out for. And you'll notice in times of war, especially those wars that are fought on a very psychological level, that it's always women that are attacked first, because they know, specifically in this instance, if they can get the African American woman to act in accordance with their desire, they can cause that rift between black women and black men, cause that division, and really that's brings down, that can bring down a culture very, very quickly. And we have to be mindful of that. And that's why you'll see especially in the Islamic world, where our media will paint them as very evil and say they don't like American culture. It's not that they don't like American culture. They don't want some of the sickness that they see being enacted on television to come and infest that culture and to bring down that culture. When you see girls on TV at music awards twerking, that's not indicative of a spiritual culture that's trying to elevate itself. Hence, the spiritual one on my t-shirt. But that's not what you want. And when women start to act in that way, and women are responsible for raising our children, the backbone of the family, then you can just say it's all over. We lost them, we lost everything. So that's Hollywood's agenda. And look at it again. It's not Jews. It's the Illuminati that's behind this, who are Satan worshipers, who want to put in place a one world government, subjugate the masses of the population, and actually depopulate the planet. And in order to do that, they have to attack minority women. They have to put in place ratchet behavior that can act as the norm to bring down the level of intelligence, and to get people to act in very dumb, infantile ways, and get people to be dependent and subservient on the system, instead of them being independent and can have their own mind and analyze things for themselves. And this is not purely an issue that relates or pertains to African Americans. This is an issue that it goes across the board. And we're talking, doesn't matter if you're Asian, white, black. This is the plan that the Illuminati has for everyone. And if you just watch even the white shows, the inundation of really ridiculous reality shows that are just so dumb in their nature, to get you to start to accept that type of, low level intelligence, so that you won't be any better than what you're watching. So, and incidentally, there is a hexagram in I Ching, the great oracle. It's the 27th hexagram, which talks about what you tend to spend most of your time with is what you tend to become. So if you are watching all of these rancid shows and you're trying to elevate yourself, it won't happen, because energy is transferable, thoughts are transferable. you pick up on those things and you act accordingly. So that's the real agenda behind Hollywood. And this is Kasakma Keparu for New World Dimensions. And that's all for now.